6 years ago, my life felt like a fairy tale that was just about to begin. I was engaged to Ethan, a man I thought was the love of my life. He was charming, successful, a millionaire who seemed to have stepped right out of a dream. We were planning our wedding, picking out venues, tasting cakes. Everything was perfect, or so I thought. The person I trusted most in the world, my own sister Claire, was secretly tearing my fairy tale apart. I remember the day it all came crashing down like it was yesterday. It was just a week before our wedding. I walked into my apartment, excited to show Claire the final design for my wedding dress. But the sight that greeted me shattered my world into a million pieces. There they were, Ethan and Claire, together in a way that left no room for doubt. The betrayal was so sharp, so deep, it felt like I couldn't breathe. My sister and my fiancé, it was a cliché, a plot from a bad movie, but it was my reality. Ethan tried to explain, stumbling over words about a mistake and a moment of weakness. Claire just stood there, tears in her eyes, but she didn't look sorry. She looked triumphant. She told me she had been in love with Ethan for months, that they had a connection I could never understand. She said he was marrying me out of obligation, but he truly loved her. Every word was a dagger to my heart. I didn't scream, I didn't cry, not then. I was just numb. I told them both to get out. That night, I packed a bag, left the engagement ring on the table, and drove away without looking back. I cut off all contact. I changed my number, moved to a different city, and started my life over from scratch. The first few years were incredibly hard. I worked multiple jobs, lived in a tiny apartment, and fought off waves of loneliness and despair. The betrayal had left a gaping wound, and I had to learn how to heal myself, piece by piece. I poured all my energy into my career, starting a small online marketing business. It was my distraction, my therapy, my path forward. Slowly, very slowly, things started to change. My business grew, I made new friends, and I started to feel like myself again, a stronger, more resilient version. I never spoke to my family about what happened. My parents tried to reach out, but they always took Claire's side, urging me to forgive and forget for the sake of family. How could I? Forgiving them felt like saying their betrayal didn't matter. So, I kept my distance. I heard through the grapevine that Ethan and Claire got married just a few months after I left. They had 2 kids and were living the life that was supposed to have been mine. For a long time, that news would send a jolt of pain through me, but over the years, the pain faded into a dull ache, and eventually, it became just a scar, a reminder of a battle I had survived. Then, last week, I got the call. My mother had passed away. Despite everything, a wave of grief washed over me. She was still my mother. I knew I had to go back for the funeral. I knew it meant I would have to face them, Claire and Ethan. For 6 years, I had avoided this moment, but now, it was unavoidable. The thought terrified me, but a part of me also felt a strange sense of calm. I wasn't the broken, 24-year-old girl anymore. I was a 30-year-old woman who had built her own life, on her own terms. I flew back to my hometown, a place filled with ghosts of my past. As I drove to the funeral home, my heart pounded in my chest. I took a deep breath before walking in. The room was somber, filled with familiar faces that now looked like strangers. And then I saw them. Claire was standing by the casket, Ethan's arm around her. She looked older, tired. The triumphant sparkle in her eye was gone, replaced by a deep-seated sadness. Ethan looked average. The charismatic millionaire I remembered seemed to have vanished, leaving behind a man who looked worn down by life. Claire saw me first. Her eyes widened, and she took a step back, her hand flying to her mouth. Ethan turned, and his face went pale. For a moment, we just stared at each other across the crowded room. All the anger, the pain, the questions I had bottled up for 6 years swirled inside me. I walked towards them, my steps steady. I wasn't there to cause a scene, not at my mother's funeral. I was there to say goodbye and to finally close this chapter of my life. Claire started to speak, her voice trembling. Anna, I'm so sorry. The apology I had craved for years finally came, but it felt hollow. Too little, too late. I just nodded, my expression unreadable. I looked at Ethan, who couldn't even meet my gaze. He just mumbled something under his breath. Seeing them together now, I didn't feel jealousy or longing. I felt pity. The grand love story they had built on my heartbreak didn't seem so grand after all. They looked miserable. Later, at the reception, Claire cornered me. She told me their life wasn't what it seemed. Ethan's business had struggled, they were in debt, and their marriage was falling apart. She confessed she had been jealous of me her whole life and thought that by taking Ethan, She could finally have the perfect life she thought I was destined for. But it had all been an illusion. She was living in the wreckage of her own choices. Listening to her, I didn't feel a sense of victory. I just felt a profound sadness for the sister I had lost long before she stole my fiancé. I told her I couldn't forgive her. Not yet, maybe not ever. But I also told her that I had moved on. My life was good. I was happy. I had found a different kind of success, one that wasn't measured in money or a fancy wedding, but in my own strength and independence. As I left the reception, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders that I hadn't even realized I was still carrying. Facing my past didn't break me. It liberated me. Driving away from my hometown for the second time, I wasn't running from a broken heart. I was driving towards my future, a future I had built for myself, one that was bright and full of possibilities. The fairy tale I had lost 6 years ago was nothing compared to the real, messy, beautiful life I had created in its place. And for the first time, I knew, deep in my soul, that I was going to be more than okay. I already was. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever faced a deep betrayal, know that healing is possible, and you can come out stronger on the other side. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.